Hi, I'm Alex Leggy from beautiful Mesa, Arizona, and this is my Disposition to Teach assignment for my SEC501 class at Grand Canyon University. So the point of this video is I have a list of 3 questions that I will run through and give my best answer for. So let's get started. Number 1, what dispositions do you possess that you think will make you a successful teacher? Right away, 2 answers come to mind. Number 1 is my enthusiasm for life. From the first day that I stepped into a classroom, every single topic I've covered, I've been enthusiastic about. And I think that because I bring that enthusiasm, I'm not just like running through the motions. Because I bring that enthusiasm, the kids get excited. And, whereas, things that might seem boring, like Shakespeare or, early James Joyce, things that kids might say, why do we need to know this? Or, you're giving a lecture about the reading and you just see a bunch of glazed over eyes. This went away. And we had a lot of great conversation, a lot of heated debates, because I brought that enthusiasm to the table, the kids just upped it, and they matched me, and it made for a great positive classroom, and I was really excited about it. That second thing, and probably the most important thing that I brought my first year teaching that made me a successful teacher, was the student mentality. Yes, I understand it's a teaching job. However, you're a first year teacher, and it's a hard, first year teaching is not easy. So having that student mentality where you can go to other people in your department, I'm from a small school, I had 2 people. However, one of them has 5 years teaching experience. So being able to go to them daily where I can say like, hey, this didn't work for me today, or, how do you do this? Or during my planning periods, going and watching their classes and seeing how they present material or how they scaffold, just being able to see that, because realistically, your first year, you try to do too much. You're like, I'm going to try and do ABC, through Z, basically. When really you should only be concentrating on 2 or 3 things that you really want to improve that first year, because you can't do everything. We're not superheroes, we're teachers. Although some people might say we're both. But it's student mentality, just being able to be a sponge and soak up any information that any teacher has to give you is so vital to becoming a successful teacher, because they've lived it already. They're trying to help you from the standpoint that they've already gone through. So have that student mentality. Question number 2. What dispositions do you need to work on before you enter the classroom as a first-year teacher? So, as I've mentioned, I am a teacher already. This is my 2nd year. And if I could go back and do anything again, I would be so much more patient. It's so vital to being successful your first year is, you walk into a classroom and, you're giving material that you think may be simple to you. However, you have to go back 2, 3, 4, 5 times and, re-explain it, try to take different approaches to it. And, there's times where, like, I would lose my patience. I wouldn't act out. I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't do any of that. However, I would go home and I'd be extremely frustrated, thinking, like, why aren't these kids getting it? And at the end of the day, they're kids. They're students. As a teacher, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And sometimes, topics are going to be 1, 2, 3, so simple. And at another time, you might have to spend an extra day. You might have to backtrack a little bit and revisit some prior knowledge. It's just those things that, if you're patient, the students are going to get so much more out of it instead of you just trying to like push through and be like, all right, we have to move on. Because, when you have that book of standards in front of you saying like, you need to cover all of these, and you're like, oh, I need to run through this course. No, like you have time. You have time. So, just be patient. Patience is key. The last question is what does a professional educator look like, and how do they behave? What standards guide their thinking and actions? So I go back to those mentor teachers, and 2 of them come to mind. The first one is Catherine Larson. She's amazing. The rigor in her classroom is off the charts. off the charts. She, has such high expectations for her juniors and seniors that her classroom runs as if it were a college classroom. And it's amazing to watch. It's amazing to see. And it's because she never settles for less. I know that my first year was like, oh, you may be missing an assignment. All right, I'll give you some extra time to do it. Like, no, she says, these are my late work policy. This is my expectations for you. You are adults. This is how things need to be done. And, kids buy in because they're being treated as adults. And there's a lot of responsibility and accountability where they say, all right, this is the expectation and I don't want to disappoint. So it's amazing to see where, some kids who may not be performing as well in other classes walk into her classroom and they're a brand new kid. And it's that expectation, it's that rigor that she has in her classroom. It's that high standard. It's amazing to watch. And the second example is Robert Hughes. Unfortunately, he's not with our school anymore. It's very sad. But, while he was there, he made such an impact on all the kids' lives that when they found out he was leaving, there was not a dry eye on campus because, he's such an amazing person where, before school, after school, during lunch, planning periods, whatever it is, he would have 4 or 5 kids in his room, maybe more. Working on assignments, he was a history teacher. He may be helping kids with English projects, with math, science. He just wanted these kids to succeed so badly. He had such a belief in them that, it was amazing to see how these kids just latched on. They said, like, this is someone who's going to support me. This is someone who wants to see me succeed. And, that's how every teacher should be. And if I could combine those two, I know that the sky's the limit and I could be very successful in my career because of those standards that they follow, those standards that they set for themselves as educators. So those are the 3 questions, and I appreciate everyone for listening, and I hope you found it insightful or entertaining. Thank you. Have a great day.